Official, Yaren found plutonium in asteroid belt Alpha Beta 3. Looks like we have another run to make today, Chief.
Captain, we need the shuttle back by 2100 tonight.
Will do.
As I recall, back in 2002, the long-in-development Run Like Hell came out to some very tepid reviews.
You cannot win.
Some of them were probably a bit unfair, even despite its mediocre action and less than terrifying survival horror-laced gameplay. Its Star Trek meets Alien storyline was just good and campy enough to keep me interested, especially with a perfectly assembled voice cast at a time when real actors didn't typically grace us with their talents in video games. Lance Henriksen, Michael Ironside, Clancy Brown, and Brad Dourif were all just pitch perfect for the material.
Too bad you picked the wrong side.
One thing is especially clear, though, in retrospect. Run Like Hell wanted to be what Dead Space became. In fact, the storylines were even similar, what with the player character Nick being stationed on a ship called the Forsetti after having just done some deep space mining, only to realize that horrible alien beings have invaded the ship and he is cut off from his fiancée Samantha and is desperate to find her.
I love you know that?
Until the end of time.
Until the end of time.
Sounds awfully familiar to me, minus some necromorphs, and instead, standing in for them are some generic, overly Giger-inspired baddies who can be killed in far more conventional ways. I also remember lots of vending machines trying to sell you real-world drinks to the point of ridiculousness, as they were scattered throughout the game quite liberally. And the title, Run Like Hell, could just as easily have been Strafe Like Hell, as that was the most viable way to dispose of the uninspired alien menace when they attacked in droves. But overall, it was an engaging game that stayed interesting until its conclusion despite an overall lack of dread. One other note, most websites list the game as being available only for the PlayStation 2 console. Don't believe them. A friend of mine, determined to prove otherwise, despite me completely not believing him, showed up once with a copy for the Xbox several years after its release. PS2 being a Run Like Hell exclusive is just a myth. On any platform, I'd say it's not a great, but neither a terrible way to kill some time, especially if you like murdering aliens before they murder you first.